Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome. You're listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. You can hit me on Twitter also at KAB41. Phone number will give you one more time in case you was doing something else. It's 937-457-9464. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show. It's lunchtime. It's Monday. Hey, go have you some Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. I just had some right before you went on air. It's like, so I'm sure if you're riding in your car, you're not far away from one. So make that left, a safely left, or a safe turn left or right, and turn into the parking lot Lee's and have you some good old fashioned chicken for lunch. And I know it's Monday. Hey, it's a little bit of a manic Monday, but it's a better Monday than it has been some of these other Mondays. It's not as cold outside as it has been. And so, hey, let's start our week off the right way and let's get at it. You guys, we're still in the midst of the coronavirus, even though our numbers are starting to come down here in Ohio, but let's continue to get them to keep going down. It's a team effort. I love team sports. I love sports in overall, but this is something everybody can be involved in to help, flatten the curve, with this coronavirus by wearing our masks. We're not going to be like some of them other states, Texas, Idaho. But we're going to take care of ourselves here in Ohio and, and spread the good word so we can all get back to normal. We're close to normal, so that we can do the things that we love to do, and that's getting out and fellowshipping with our family, for our fellow men. Black Lives Matter. Like I said, it's not a slogan. It's a movement, and let's continue to look out for one another, for all of mankind, so we can truly be the United States of America of everyone, and have all the colors, represented well here in America, because this is the best place in the world to live. Where else is better than here? Not in, other good places, but this is the best. I love living here. Wow. So what I have to talk about today, did you see the All-Star game last night? Did you see the dunk contest? Did you see the 3-point shootout? I mean, because we're still in the midst of the pandemic, All-Star weekend, it was All-Star day than what it has been in the past. I mean, I talk to my friends all the time. We talk about different subjects. And one of the subjects that comes up is like, man, I love going to sporting events. This is my favorite month as far as sporting events, because March Madness is in the month of March. I love my favorite tournament, is the NCAA tournament. Yes, I even like that better than the college football playoffs, which is only 4 teams. Here you get 64 or 68 teams. Love that. If you have an opportunity, we're kind of spoiled here, in Dayton. A lot of times we, prior to this year, even last year, we have the first 4. So you get a little bit of the NC tournament thing right here in our backyards. And if you haven't done it in the past, please do so. Hopefully in the future, this year, it won't be in Dayton. It's going to be in Indianapolis with all the games. But, you have certain bucket list things you want to do. Whereas that, go to an Ohio State game, go to a professional football game, but have you ever been to a World Series game? You get an opportunity to at least get to 4. I mean, make sure it's not a sweep, but go to a World Series game. If you're a real sports fan, you want to have certain bucket things you do. Everybody's list is a little different. For other people, they may want to go to a NASCAR event. Not on my list, but, it's a whole lot of people's events, who follow NASCAR. They want to go to, be at NASCAR. Go to a Final Four. Go to an NCAA tournament game. Those are bucket lists. So that's something that, are good to do. How about the Super Bowl? Have you ever been to a Super Bowl? You ever want to go to a Super Bowl? If you're a football fan, you want to do that one day. I've been to my fair share of them. I had to take the time and think, but I know I've been to over 10 Super Bowls. And there's only 55 of them. And I know I have, somewhere between 10 and 20 of them. I have on my resume of times I've been to the game. I know that's a blessing to have been there, to have the opportunity, to do those big events. Never been to the Olympics, had an opportunity, but something came up. I couldn't make it. But whatever your bucket list thing to do is to do. But The All-Star Weekend. That is B1. That is one. If you're a basketball fan, you would have to do that. I have a few All-Star weekends under my belt. And I'm telling my wife, we got to go one of these years. It is so much fun being there, seeing all the players. But I love All-Star Saturday night, because you get to see the dunk contest and the three-point, then you see the game on Sunday. But it's kind of changed a little bit over the years. But this year, they condensed it and put it all in one package. And I got to give kudos to the NBA. I think they did a good job. They did a really good job, with the three-point, the skills challenge yesterday. I was at the Flying to the Hoop, so I missed the skills challenge. I don't even know who won. Justin, who won the skills challenge? No. I don't know. So that's just passing the ball and shooting a layup and a jumper. Don't know who won the skills challenge contest, but I had my phone and I was looking at the three-point shootout from Flying to the Hoops. And I'm telling you, Steph Curry, Sabonis from Indiana won won the skills challenge. But the three-point shootout came down to Ohio State Buckeye, first time All-Star, first time, really getting his name out there and had a long career, is Mike Conley. And he hit 28 points in the first round, and then in the final round, he has 27. Steph Curry had 31 in the final round, and he needed, I was telling one of my buddies, I said, man, that was a Larry Bird moment last night. When Steph Curry was a champion, it came down to his last shot, last ball, the 2-point red, white, and blue ball. He needed to make that to win. And he let that ball go, left his finger up in the air like Larry Bird did in the 80s. Like, the only difference was Larry Bird left his sweat jacket on. He didn't take his jacket off. And when that ball left Steph Curry's hand, everybody knew it was him. And hit ball, nothing but the bottom of the net. He left his hands up. It was a great celebration. And just an unbelievable moment, that leads you to get you ready for the All-Star game. Now, the All-Star game isn't what it used to be when it was East versus West, back in the, the 80s and the 90s. But by the 2000s, it was all about buddy ball. And it was that way in the 60s and 70s and 80s for the first three quarters. But they always seemed to kept the game close, for the fourth quarter. Now the real All-Stars, you want to represent your conference. And they would show up and they would play the fourth quarter hard. Hey, no more easy dunks. You should have got that in the first three quarters. It's the fourth quarter. We want to represent our conference, let you know that we're better than you. So it was more competitive back in those days, especially, when I was growing up watching it. As opposed today, it's still competitive, if you will, but it's always about the show for the fans. And back in the day, that's what the first three quarters were. Fan shows. The fourth quarter is about winning. These games aren't necessarily about winning. It's about, hey, let's not get hurt. We're going to make a whole bunch of money. And you just really, that's just dunking three and shoot threes. We're not going to really run no plays. So it's just really watching a glorified warm-up, and that's okay. I mean, that's why we have the three-point shootout, so we can see the threes. That's why we have the dunk contest, which I had at halftime, and I thought that was a nice touch. University of Dayton product, Obi Toppin, was runner-up. Toppin, I'm sorry, was runner-up. And but you don't really get the same warm and fuzzy feelings. But what I'm saying all that, they can still go to the All-Star game and see all those guys in one place. You get a chance to see LeBron and Kevin Durant. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from going in the future, because you have the opportunity to go. Have a good time. And it's more to just be there for the atmosphere and electricity. Whatever that city is, once we get past this pandemic, go enjoy it. Because you'll have a great time. And you get to, something to take the whole family to, your kids, or just adults. You would have a blast. So do that. But I just want to continue, to take my hat off to the NBA. I think they did a great job. A ton of money was raised. I think they had 25 100 people in in there, but it seemed like it was 25,000. The fans were there. I think I don't know what the TV numbers were just yet, but I think they're going to do pretty good. And a lot of the money that they raise are going to historically Black colleges and university, and that's also a very good thing as well. Anything that's going to help out our future, for tomorrow, was awesome. But one thing, if you listen to this show long enough, I'm never the person that gets caught up in the moment and saying it's the best I ever saw. And last night when Steph Curry hit that shot, Reggie Miller, got caught up and said, "Oh, that's the greatest shot, the greatest 3-point shooter we've ever seen." And I hate, you heard me the last couple weeks. I'm not that big on that GOAT talk. When in areas that's we get the creature of the moment. The last thing we seen is the greatest thing we've seen. And I love Steph Curry, but I don't think no man can wear that mantle of the greatest shooter we've ever seen. I've seen a lot of great shooters. You can have your favorite, and we all have our favorites. But to say one guy is the greatest shooter of all time, no. I don't put that on nobody's head. Nobody's head. It's just a lot of great shooters. And before the 3-point line is only 41 years old. They only put it in like 1979, maybe 78, but I think it's 1979, if I'm not mistaken, is when the NBA instituted the 3-point shot. So that's not, that's 41 years, but it's a whole lot of players who shot from different ranges and different areas, but they wouldn't count as 3-point shots. Great shooters. I mean, the list goes on. Pete Maravich, Earl the Pearl Monroe. It's a ton of great shooters. So to limit it to the guy you've seen the last 5 or 10 or 15 years, I think you're doing a disservice to all the great shooters who have been, played in NBA, over time. But said that, still enjoy the moment. I'm not telling you not to enjoy the moment, but because we always want to make the moment bigger than the whole sum of it all. Enjoy the moment, enjoy what you're watching, and just appreciate it. It doesn't have to be the greatest thing, because hopefully there'll be tomorrows, and then tomorrow comes, you see another great shot. You see another great catch. You see another great home run. You see another great golf shot. So enjoy the moment, but don't make it of all time. You don't have to do that. And because you're really trying to one up somebody. Oh, you didn't see it? Oh man, you missed it. Oh, you missed it. Like, no, I'll see it again. But again, I take my hats off to the NBA. They did a tremendous job. And, Steph Curry, if he retires today, he'd be one of the greatest shooters of all times. And that was just great to see him win that, yesterday. And yeah, I felt sorry for, Conley. Like, I wish I gave the best I have. And when you give the best you have, you can look yourself in the mirror and be satisfied with the results. I mean, and Steph he's a bad man. I mean, I had a conversation, about 5 or 6 years ago with one of my good friends who lives in Florida. And he was saying at the time that at one time he was like, Kevin Durant is the best shooter of all time. And then it was Steph Curry. And he was like, I don't care who you name, you can't name nobody better than him. I was like, really? He said, he's the best. And it just so happened, I was playing golf the next day with another great shooter by the name of Ray Allen. And I said, I can't wait to see Ray Allen tomorrow to ask him this question. So I go up to Ray Allen. I said, Ray, I know you're retired now, but, there's a conversation going on between one of my buddies, the greatest shooter of all time. And I said, I said, just naming random guys, I said, if you guys are playing horse tomorrow, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, who would win? And that was the same question I asked my buddy, and he said, I'm taking Steph all day long. I said, that's not the right answer. I said, the right answer is who's the hottest that night. And so when I asked Ray Allen the question, Ray said, I didn't, goad him or lead him. And he was like, man, I was in the gym last night. I couldn't miss. I was like, yeah. I said, so would you agree whoever was hottest that day? Because everybody has different degrees of hot. When I played basketball, my hot wasn't Steph Curry hot. My producer, Justin Kerr, he played basketball back in the day when his hot was not the same as Ray Allen's hot. But we did see him hit a jump shot in the Harlem Globetrotters. That's all that matters. But Ray was telling me, he said, you're exactly right. There is not one guy that can wear that mantle because hot is hot. Nobody, and great is great. Now, Ray was retired. He still, still looks good, still staying in shape. But, he's like, there's different type of shooters. There's shooters that, more rhythmic shooters that like to dribble into their shots and they get a better rhythm. And there's snipers. He said, I was a sniper. Rip Hamilton for the Detroit Pistons was a sniper. Reggie Miller was a sniper. Just one shot, one kill, bam. They don't need to dribble the ball 4 or 5 times to get a shot off. Whereas James Harden, he dribbles like half the 24-second clock to get his shot off. It's a tractor shot, a good shot, but that doesn't make one better than the other. Well, but I'm saying enjoy the NBA All-Star Game because today I want to talk about basketball. I want to talk about basketball, and I want to talk a lot about basketball today. Except we're in the month of March. Selection Sunday's coming up. Is it next Sunday or in 2 weeks? When this coming Sunday. Wow, time flies. We're going to see who makes the tournament, who doesn't make the tournament. So it's creeping up on it. So a lot of things happen in the month of March, even in the NBA, because the playoffs in the NBA start next month, believe it or not, in late April. But also in the month of March, and basketball related, here in the state of Ohio, we crown our state champions with men's and women. Girls and guys, state champions get crowned in the month of March. And seeing that this was the month of March, seeing that this is 2021, I have to sometime, I'm going to reflect over the next couple of weeks on what happened in the month of March 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I was in high school. Man, that doesn't sound right. But believe it or not, it's true. I was in high school 40 years ago. I was a junior in high school. And my high school team won the first of 2 state championships. My high school won a state championship in 1976, led by the great Dwight Anderson. But 5 years later, we won the state championship again, led by the same, head coach by the name of Mike Haley. Mike Haley's in the Ohio High School Hall of Fame, as a coach. He won a high school championship in 1960 at Portsmouth High School. And he moved to Dayton, started working here, and he got a job, working for Roosevelt, basketball coach there, basketball coach at Rolfe. And one of the few players in Ohio history that have won a state championship as a player and come back and win one as a coach. He just didn't win one as a coach. He ended up winning like 5 or 6 of them, as a coach. But he was the head coach of the Rolfe Falcons in 1981. And you've heard me say on this show, not a lot of times, but you heard me say on this show in the past, been a lot of state champions in the state of Ohio. Over 100 years of state champions. And so, I'm talking about the boys, men's state championship. And you heard me say earlier, I don't talk a lot about the GOATs. But in this time, I am going to talk about GOATs. Who is the greatest high school team to ever play in Ohio? And there's been a ton of great teams in Ohio because you have to be great to win a championship. But if I have to pick one, and I haven't seen 100 years, I haven't seen all of them, but I've done a lot of my research. But of the best team, not the best player, the best team, who do you have? And it's a lot to choose from. And you can call me biased, you can call me whatever you want, But I'm going to go with the 1980-81 Raw Falcons here in Dayton, Ohio, are the greatest team to ever win a state championship in Ohio. Well, why are they the greatest team, Keith? Just because you played for them, that makes them great? It's only a little bit of the reason why. But it was way bigger than me. Because, LeBron James won, what, 2 championships in Ohio or 3? 3. He won 3 state championships. But his team, LeBron's team was not better than our team. Yes, they got LeBron James. But LeBron James he can't score every point. Carl Kellogg gave it a try when he was in high school. He was pretty close. He scored, I think, 53 out of 59 points his team scored. But they lost. In the state finals. But LeBron can't check everybody. He can only check one guy. Maybe 2, but he can't be everywhere. But our team, and I'm gonna name names today. I'm gonna name everybody on our team. Yes, they don't have the name of LeBron James. They don't have the name of Clark Kellogg. They don't have the name of Jerry Lucas. They don't have the name of Jimmy Jackson. They don't have the name of Ron Harper. They don't have the name of, the list goes on and on and on. But as a team, and there's talent, because how often do you have a great team and and attitude and all the little intangibles that go with it? That hardly ever happens. It rarely happens, if ever. But it happened in 1980-81. It happened that year for the Raw Falcons. We were talented, but our attitude was just as good as our talent was. We have one of the best coaches to ever coach here in Ohio. And we got talent. And you merge those together with a lack of ego. It was no ego on our team. And we averaged over 90 plus points a game without a 3-point line. Let me say that again. No 3-point line, and this team averaged over 90, during the regular season. He scored 100 points over 7 or 8 times. I had to count them. I don't have, let me count it right now, matter of fact. How many times did we score 100 points? We scored 100 points without a 3-point line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. 9 times over 100. With the high of 130 points. Imagine scoring 130 points without a 3-point line. I mean, we had to score them 1 and 2 at a time. 1 shot for the free throw or 2 in 32 minutes. We didn't play 12-minute quarters. We played 8-minute quarters like they do today. and that's kind of efficiency, of offensive firepower. So you want to throw LeBron James at me. You want to throw Greg Stokes, who was the Big Ten Player of the Year out of Hamilton, against me. I mean, 2nd-round pick of the Philadelphia 76ers. There's a ton of great names you can throw at us. But as a team, there was no stopping us. We went 25-1. They said, y'all lost. Who'd y'all lose to? Well, we lost to Salina. We lost to them by 2 points. And it was an overtime. And it was people in Salina. I've met them. We got homered. It was 5-on-7. Us 5 against their 5 plus 2 more of the referees on their side. And the whole team, most of us all fouled out. I was a 6th man. I fouled out. We had 1 starter that didn't foul out. So we had 4 starters. I fouled out. I think 2 other guys, fouled out. We had like 7 guys foul out of the game. Their leading score, I'll come back to that. I ain't going to give Salina that much credit. They know what it was. But I'm telling you, the Raw Falcons of 1980-81 was the finest team you would ever see. Because it wasn't just the players. And before I go to break, I'm going to name you the players. I know we got local people listening. They know these names. We were so deep. And the starting 5 on that team, head coach is Mike Haley. The assistant coach was Bobby Porter. He's a Hall of Fame coach now out in Utah. still winning championships with the same formula that we established, in the 70s and the 80s. He's taking that road to Salt Lake City, Utah, and killing them out there. But our starting five on that Raw Falcon basketball team, at guard, we had William Colston. The other guard, he's a bailiff here in town by the name of Chuck Taylor, works for Judge Garris. Chuck Taylor those are two guards, and I love those guys. And every time I see Troy Taylor and Ronnie Stokes, who were the guards at Ohio State for 4 years, came out in 81, I said, man, we had two guards that would give you guys a business. But that was Eldon Miller's lack of understanding. But let me go back. Let me stay on topic. Our starting guards that year was Chuck Taylor and William Colston. Our forward was Fred Johnson. Our center was Ike Thornton. And our other forward was Darryl Murphy. Best starting. That was a great starting five. Now, of those starting fives, if you wasn't at our game at the tip-off, you didn't know who started. Because a lot of times within a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, certainly by 4 minutes, we didn't make a wholesale, substitution. Horn ring, it could be one guy coming in or three guys, sometimes four. And then that's how much, because we played a high pressure defense, man-to-man, for 94 feet. So Coach Haley had a rule: if you get tired, throw your hand up, take yourself out, and I'll put you right back in when you're ready to go back in. So there's no reason for you not to hustle on the court. And so the next wave that we would bring at you, our next five, was Wesley Jones at center, Anthony Graham, who's the principal, here at, I believe at Meadowdale. He was the other forward. Another forward by a guy by the name of Keith Byars. And our guards were Rick Lacey and Walt Selden. That was the next five guys that we're going to come at you. And those five names I just mentioned would start for any other school, any other school here in the city or the suburbs. So we basically had 10 starters. We only had 11 guys on varsity, and 11th guy was a freshman by the name of Steve Smith. That team had 11 guys on original varsity, 9 seniors, 1 junior, myself, I was a junior in 1981, and 1 freshman. And no sophomores, 1 junior, 9 seniors. That's what we would come at you with, just from what grades we were in. But I'm going to take a break right here, and I'm going to go over some of these scores and some of the people we played against, to help you continue to drive home the point of what a GOAT high school basketball team is and what it is not. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Staples has everything you need to be organized and productive, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organization supplies, all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start with big savings from Staples.
O'Reilly. This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Body Shop Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need a dependable body shop, we're here to help, repairing all makes and models. Our technicians have over 125 years experience. That means we can repair your vehicle quickly and efficiently. Our department is state-of-the-art with new equipment to get you back on the road quickly. We offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
In 2003, it was rare for freshmen to carry a college basketball team, never mind two of them. But for Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony and Jerry McNamara did just that, all the way to a national championship. Anthony led the team in scoring and rebounds, while McNamara led the team in assists and was third in scoring. In the national championship game against Kansas, Carmelo was the game's leading scorer with 20, and McNamara added 18.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
March is the biggest month in college basketball where teams across the country test their talent in the hopes of winning it all. For finding talent that can help your team win it all, there's LinkedIn Jobs. Post a job with targeted screening questions, and LinkedIn will quickly get your role in front of qualified candidates. Manage job posts and contact candidates from a single view as functions are streamlined onto one simple screen. Post a job for free at linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
What are real people saying about Skechers Arch Fit footwear? Joe from Hilton Head says, excellent product. I need arch support, and these shoes have it. Joe, Skechers Arch Fit don't just have arch support, they have podiatrist certified arch support that was developed with over 20 years of data. These shoes are great for virtually everybody. Next, Pete from New York writes, great for walking. I stand a lot of work and the Arch Fit keeps me comfortable. My feet don't feel tired at the end of the day. Okay, Pete gets it. He's walking, working, just live it at Skechers Arch Fit. And since Arch Fit is the ultimate solution for all-day comfort, his feet still feel good after a long, long day. Now let's hear what Retired for Life in Florida has to say. Bought these for use as everyday wear shoes. The arch support is amazing. All right, look, she's getting the support she needs, and she's also sneaky smart wearing these every day because Skechers Arch Fit are machine washable, so you can keep them looking great no matter how much you wear them. She's a genius. Feel for yourself what everybody's raving about. Find podiatrist certified Skechers Arch Fit at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Receive a $5 rebate by trading up any non-contact thermometer toward an Exergen purchased at any retailer. Details at Exergen.com.
O'Reilly. Save big during Power Torque Tools DIY Day sale at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on socket sets, impact wrenches, and more. Right now, get $10 off a 200-piece mechanics tool set, plus earn double O-Rewards points. That means you'll get to your next reward even faster. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
2020 was a challenging year, but things are looking up, including the stock market's performance. But will it last? Hi, I'm Ken Murray, Senior Advisor at Retirement Planners of America. If you are 50 or older, call us today to schedule a free consultation to learn more about our Invest and Protect strategy that is designed to help mitigate the risk of the stock market. Call us today at 800-375-1159 to schedule your free assessment. That's 800-375-1159.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
O'Reilly. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power and capacity your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are designed for lasting performance and consistent starts. Turn the key with confidence with Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Discover and enjoy your favorite music, news, and talk radio from live stations across the country. Listen anywhere on all mobile and home devices with the radio.com app.
That meeting's starting at 4. Can I get those projections?
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Karen, do these numbers look right to you?
Like at Mia's research firm. To hit client deadlines, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision.
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byars Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. A little hiccup there, but hey, I'm here. You can get me. Nothing wrong with your radio. You know, before the break, we were talking about high school basketball and who I call the greatest high school basketball team to ever play. You know, in high school in Ohio high school, you can't compare apples to oranges. But Ohio's going to crown another state champion. You know, this year they had 4 divisions in basketball. So we have a Division I, Division II, Division III state champion here in the month of March. But during my days, we had 3 state champions, not 4, and it was A, AA, AAA. And the Rolfe High School team in 1980-81 was a AAA, which was a big school. The big school state champion, you know, here in Ohio. And I was telling you why, you know, that team, you know, was the GOAT. It was more than the scores on the scoreboard. I mean, a Friday night, and I wanted to see, hopefully after the pandemic is over with, during the football season, Justin Kenner and I, we talk all the time about the crowds that are at the games on Friday night. The different stadiums, you get bigger crowds and lesser crowds at other stadiums. And I want to get back to those days when people, I love to promote it, when folks get out there and promote your local talent, your local high school, whether it's football, basketball, track and field, baseball, whatever. It makes a world of difference in the kids' lives when they are there supported by their peers, the family, their friends, their schoolmates. That makes a difference. And so going back to talking about Rolfe High School, last summer I was doing a high school by high school, the greats from different schools here in the Dayton Public Schools. And one school I didn't get to, I talk about it all the time, was Rolfe High School. And I'm still going to do that, over the next couple of months. But right now we're talking about Rolfe High School, greatest basketball team of all time, and also the greatest high school state champion of all time, same school, Rolfe High School. You come to our games, on a Friday night, or Saturday night. A lot of times they move our games to Saturday because we didn't want to necessarily have to compete with other schools on Friday. So you go out there and spend your money and support that school on Friday and go watch the Falcons on Saturday. Because we know everybody we don't want to take your crowd away from you. And we know we are must-see TV. It wasn't on TV, but it was must-watch. And our little Cracker Jack box of a gym that we had at Rolfe High School, it would be so jam-packed. So the few games they would let us have at Rolfe, because back in those days, they would the city would have double and triple headers at UD Arena. So a lot of our home games would get moved to UD Arena. But hold up on that part of the story. Let's stay at Rolfe High School. Our little gym didn't have any balconies. It just pull out bleachers on both sides. And I want to say our game sold out, but we're glad the fire marshal wasn't there because it would have been a sellout. The fire marshal would have, it would be so many people at the game. People would be standing out in the lobby trying to look over somebody's head by the concession stand just to get a glimpse at the court. Somebody would have to take the ball out after a dead ball, and the referee would have to tell the fans who were standing on the court, it was standing room only, they would be standing on the court, unless the ball was on that half of the court, then they would back away. But I would be taking the ball out. Excuse me, man. Can you step it to the side? I need some room to throw the ball in. Oh, okay. My bad, young blood. And that's how jam-packed the gym would be. I mean, we didn't even need the heat on. There'd be so many people in there. It was enough body heat going on in the place. So it was a great experience. I mean, you come through and bust through the paper you do at a high school, basketball game. You see it on football games too. The opposing team would be warming up, and because you're the home team, you're going to be the last one on the court. And when we used to come busting out the locker room, you talking about so much enthusiasm and electricity in the building. Our announcer, I don't know if you guys ever seen the Rocky 2 movie when Apollo Creed is fighting Rocky, and they're in the ring. And he's giving the announcers, and he's giving the introduction of Apollo, and he goes down this list of all these different nicknames, for Apollo Creed. And then Rocky looks like, hey man, he's like, is it ever going to end? That's how it was for our Rolfe High School. This is before the Rocky movie. So our announcer would our coach name was Mike Haley. So one of our nicknames was Haley's Comets. And he would say, ladies and gentlemen, sit back. You are about to be entertained by this year's edition of the 1980-81 Rolfe Falcon basketball team. Haley's Comets. The Masters of Disaster, the Grape Crush, the Purple People. I mean, the list would, because our colors are purple and white. The list would go on and on. We'd be in there in a tunnel, hyped up, and then we come busting out. And then we didn't have a band because that would just take up seats. We'd be playing. We had a DJ at the game, and so he would be playing the hit record at the time. And one of the hit records was a song by the Gap Band called "Burn Rubber on Me." If you ever, most people are familiar with the song. The song starts out with the motorcycle rev and burning rubber. Like, and we would come out on that song sometime, and we get in that layup line, and dun, 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 I ain't gonna start singing, but it would be so live. I mean, guys, you'd be jumping 10 feet off the ground. You felt like it, not a reality, but you felt like it, and you can't wait for the game to start. So that's intimidating to the opponents. And then the game would start, and we would, of course, we're going to come out pressuring you, full court pressure, and you just didn't play against the five guys, in the Raw Falcon jerseys. You played against the whole stadium. I mean, the whole, arena or the gym. And we had like call and responses. One of our players on the team, I mentioned the name earlier, was by the name of Ike Thornton. Ike he was left-handed like me. And Ike had a different kind of jump shot. He had a high arcing jump shot. It seemed like he would release the ball and it would almost go up to the ceiling. And the ball would just fall out the sky right through the net. So we used to call his nickname was the Rainbow Launcher, because he just throw that thing so high up in the air and you waiting for it to come down. They just hit apex and he's like nothing but the bottom of the net. So it's just a great shooter. And so when he would come down on fast break or whoever, but mostly, someone like him or one of our other jump shooters would shoot, and you would hear the whole stadium go, ooh, that's the ball in there, ooh, and then the ball go through there. And it was just electricity all over all over the arena. And so that's what we brought to. I mean, we felt like rock stars everywhere we went. The gym was always jam-packed, with fans. And it was a total experience. And that, coupled with the fact that everybody on the team, who was the star of your team, Keith, of that team? Well, we didn't really have, we was all one big star. Yes, we had guys that were better than one another, but it wasn't no ego, because it was a different guys. Like who do we have to concentrate? We played on Raw. Do we got to take William Colston out? One of the two guard. What about Fred Johnson? What about Ike Thornton? So you worry about different guys, and somebody else is going to get you, because like I said earlier, we had no ego. Who was the star of the game? Okay, you the star of the game this game. Who's going to be star of the game next time? It would seem like it would go around in a circle. You never know who was going to step up, whether it was a starter or whether it was somebody coming off the bench. But long as the team won, we all won. And it was, and the coach Haley never had a problem with any parents saying, my son needs more playing time. I don't like how you treating him. It was none of that, because it was like, it's about us, guys. If we do this and, put our egos aside, because we all felt like we should have needed more time, more playing time. We all felt like we should have been starting. But we was like, it ain't about us. It ain't about me. It's about the team. And very few coaches can get that off and get players to buy into that. Coaches do, and when you see it, you appreciate it. You clap your hands. You're like, yes. Because when championship teams are that way. Even this past year, watching the Lakers win the championship, everybody had to finally accept their role. Rondo didn't start, but Rajon Rondo, when he came in the game, he knew his role, and he was always there on the court during crunch time. But they won as a team. And that Raw Falcon team of 1980 and 81, we won as a team. And we're going to have we got inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. But because of the pandemic, it got delayed to this summer. And so this summer, when we have that celebration, we're all going to get together and, have a great time. But we're going to have, like I said, this is the month of March. we're going to have a pre-celebration in a few weeks. We're going to get together and meet at a local restaurant on March 20th, which is the day we won the championship 40 years ago. And we're going to sit back and reminisce and, just fellowship and have a little mini reunion amongst ourselves. We're not getting any younger. I feel I'm younger, but we're not getting any younger. And so when I say out loud, it's been 40 years, man, that sounds crazy to me. But it is something, to be proud of. And, thank the Lord I'm still here on the earth and can talk about something that happened 40 years ago. I hope to do it again in another 40 years. Who knows? But, I'm going to take you back. I'm going to go. There's over a few games that we scored 100 points. I said that earlier in the show, but I'm running out of time. So I said we scored 100 points 9 times. Here's the 100-point games we scored. I'm going to give you the opponents. Our second game of the season, we scored 101 points against another high school that's now closed called Fairview. They had 72. We had 101. Then we played the school out of Columbus, Marion Franklin. They had 59. We had 109. We beat them by 50. Cincinnati Hughes, they had 81. They gave us a pretty good run, but we had 108. They still lost. Then we played a school that you guys are very familiar with. They call a lot of flack here, last year when they scored over 100 points against somebody. They just scored 130. And everybody's, man, why did Trotwood beat them down like that? Well, Trotwood took a beat down too from us. We played them in 1981. They scored 60 points on us, but they still got beat by 41. We blew Trotwood out 101 to 60. And then there's another school. Once Rolfe High School closed, they inherited a great deal of success because prior to Rolfe High School closing, this school hadn't won any state championships. They had been there, been runner-up, but they never won any state championship. But this school, by the name of Dunbar, they scored 63 points against us. That's a pretty good effort. But they gave up 107. So Rolfe High School, let me repeat that. Rolfe High School in 1981 beat Dunbar. Yes, the great Dunbar you guys talk about all the time. They weren't always great. They got great once Rolfe High School closed. And Rolfe High School beat Dunbar 107 to 63. Did I say that again? 107 for Rolfe High School. Dunbar had 63. I guess you get my point. But we're going to talk more about that over the next couple of weeks. Kudos to what Dunbar is doing now, and I want to see all the other public schools in Dayton come back. But Rolfe High School was one of the original kings of Ohio high school basketball, and I will continue to talk about that over the next couple of weeks leading up into our reunion. But high school basketball here in Ohio is strong. It's been that way for a long time, and I plan on it getting stronger. You've been listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. I'll see you next time.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING, 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Joining us right now via the Goodyear hotline. Rachel, it has been, speaking of a minute, it's been a minute. How are you? And thank you so much for giving us time today.
I miss you both so much.
I know,
Rachel. We need to do more of this.
Rachel, Bart and I were talking about this. We both go way